Obviously, farming can cause climate change in that it's a huge emitter of emissions. What's happening at these talks to help agriculture reduce its emissions?
Well, actually, in terms of the talks and the negotiations, nothing right now. So we're really disappointed that, as your previous speaker said, that agriculture wasn't included in the agenda for this meeting here in Poland, and that was a blow. We expected it to be, but we're not giving up. We'll be back at the next COP. We'll be at the sessions that are held in between the COPs, the annual COPs, and working on agriculture, because it's too important, I think, to ignore farmers in the world when we talk about climate change affecting different occupations. Climate change very much affects farming, and farming, of course, is what we all depend on for our food. So the nexus between ag production, climate change, and feeding people is a very important one, and one that we don't think should be ignored, even though it is complex and a little bit difficult to deal with. We need to start somewhere to solve this problem of feeding more people more sustainably, using less of the Earth's resources, doing it with less emissions of greenhouse gas, and actually agriculture can perform a service there with the right techniques in terms of mitigating and absorbing carbon into the soils, preventing the release of methane from animals, and preventing the release of nitrous oxide from fertilizers. So there's a lot we can do in agriculture, and a lot has been done in many countries that way, but we need to spread it more worldwide. That's why we need to be a part of these talks. And then secondly, we really need, or perhaps it's thirdly, we really need to work on adapting the techniques farmers use, the seed varieties they use, because we're not going to roll back climate change immediately. It's going to be a long, long process. And so we need to get farmers to adapt themselves and their operations and their technology, their seeds, so that we can continue to produce and actually increase production in a more sustainable way into the future, so that there are fewer hungry people in the world.
What about genetically modified seeds? Do you include that in the adaptation?
We don't have a position on that at the World Farmers Organization, but there are many agencies on the world level who are including it. It's controversial. Some countries have decided they don't want it. Some have decided that they do. I think that's a country choice at this point, and I understand the passions on both sides of that.
The UNFCCC isn't known for moving fast, and these talks seem to be fairly stuck. Considering the importance of feeding people, I mean, aren't farmers better just getting on with it than trying to make this process work?
Well, you know, there are some countries who have said that we should continue to be participants in the UNFCCC process, but we should also do some things as groups, coalitions of the willing, I guess you might call it, that we could form that could act in conjunction with each other to reduce greenhouse gas emissions and increase productivity on farms with fewer resources, and that can be done. I mean, many developed countries have shown us how we can do that, and I think that the World Farmers Organization is a part of that process as well. But we don't want to give up on the UN process. This is very important. The UN is an important institution. It is a little cumbersome because it's so inclusive, and that's a strength. It's also a weakness when we need to move quickly. So the UN, like the mill of the Greek gods, it grinds slowly, but it grinds exceedingly fine.